The first pillar of creativity is abduction. And when we try to define abduction, it's very easy. It's very common sense. It's very natural. And maybe therefore so unusual to make a theory out of it. Because it's suspicion. And what is suspicion? That's a question we don't think so much about. But we use it very much when we are working in creative contexts. Suspicion is in fact the act of throwing yourself before knowing something. So what you in fact do is that you are in the future, or in a kind of future which you don't know yet, but you experience it, you sense it, you have a relation with it, but you don't know. So it's knowing and not knowing at the same time. A knowing by experience, and a not knowing in the sense of proof, which is induction, or logic, which is deduction.
The role of abduction it's difficult to explain because abduction is basically a technical term from logic, where it means it's not deduction or induction. You know, deduction, you go from general to specific. Induction, you go from specific to the general. And abduction is it's sort of back and forth, almost arbitrarily, coming up with new inspiring ideas. So according to Peirce, this American philosopher who came up with the term, abduction is the way to innovation, to new ideas. That's how new ideas can come about, because if you make the ideas too strictly deductive and inductive, you have this logical path, and that can be very useful, but it can also become rigid. And abduction is opening that up. And that opening up gives it a space for speculation and for new ideas. Here. So yes, I think that's a very important element in creativity.
When it comes to abduction, in relation to creative thinking, we are forced to consider to work in the realm of speculation. And when I talk about speculation, I don't mean it in a negative way, but rather a positive one. So we can consider options. So what is at stake is the fact that we can abandon the normative structure that we are placed in by society, and we can move forward by thinking of possible options we have. So the idea of working in an abductive way is to work with not accepting a normative view, so the status quo of things, and we can consider things that are urgent for us and for the society we live in. And working in an abductive way also gives us the possibility of tackle these urgencies and to make changes possible. So when we actually work in this way, we can eliminate those blockages that we already have in the society we live in, because our parents, our former teachers, or the society at large tells us exactly who to be, how to behave, and what to do in life. But we can ask ourselves the question, what do we really want? And this is what, for me, makes working in an abductive way extremely political and creative.